Hi everybody, good morning. Welcome to English class. I hope you read the 22 lines I had taught in the previous class. Okay. Did you read the text and the meaning on the right side? I hope you understood. See, every day you have to read. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for you to learn one act or two acts together. Okay. So, you have to learn every day. Let me ask a question, okay, about the lesson that we had studied. Okay, in the opening scene, in what mood is Antonio? Is he happy or sad? Okay, Antonio is melancholic mood. Antonio is in a melancholic mood, or he is in a sad mood. Okay, so what does Salanio assumed about his sadness? Salanio. Okay. So Salanio tells that he must be thinking about his merchant ships that have gone to different directions. And so his feelings may be about their safety. So the ships have an uncertain fate. Okay. So he may be thinking about that. That's why Antonio is sad. And yeah, in your own words, can you describe uh, how Antonio's ships are sailing in the sea? Okay. Or how does Salarino describe that scene? Salarino says that Antonio's rich cargo ship with their majestic sails that move in the sea presents a grand spectacle or a grand pageant in the sea. Okay, very beautiful. They excel the small ships in the same way the noblemen of status and other rich citizens look superior to the humble people. Okay, so that's how Antonio's merchant ships are compared to the other small ships and boats. Okay, so the smaller ship that bob up and down under the influence of the waves and so appear to show respect to Antonio's ship. Okay, so this is what we have learned. I hope you had read. Okay, now see the next page. Okay, take your textbook and turn to the page. Okay, page number 4. Page number 4. Okay, now again Salarino says, okay, what does Salarino say? My wind cooling my broth would blow me to an ague when I thought what harm a wind too great might do at sea. I should not see the sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and flats and see my wealthy Andrew dogged in sand, wailing her high top lower than her ribs to kiss her burial. Okay. Now, Salarino also expressed his views. If he were in a condition like this, or what would have been his feelings? That's what Salarno tells. Okay, so he says that if he were in a condition like this, okay, my wind cooling my broth. So when he blew, or when he blows on his broth means soup. Okay, my wind cooling my broth. Sometimes you might have seen people like, if the tea or coffee is very hot, they just blow on it, but it's not a good manner. You should not do that. Okay, it's not a good manner. uh, so here he says, my wind cooling my broth. So whenever he blows on his soup, would blow me to an ague. Okay, so that makes him think about, or that makes him tremble as if he had some kind of or malarial fever. That's what would blow me to an ague. Okay, so this act of blowing on his soup, okay, would make him shiver with what? Fever, okay, to an ague. How or why? When I thought, what harm a wind too great might do at sea. So why he trembled with fever? Why does he tremble with fever? When he thinks about what? Okay, now when he blows on the soup, he thinks about the strong winds. Okay, the what harm a wind too great, strong wind. That means we can say one word, storms. Okay, so what harm a storm can do to his ship in the sea. I should not see the sandy hourglass run. Then again he says that if he sees a sandy hourglass run, but I should think of shallows and flats. Now, I think you might have seen hourglass. Okay, hourglass is an apparatus. I'll show you here. Okay, this is the hourglass. Okay, it was used in olden times. So, what is this? So, look at the picture. This is a hourglass. Okay, you can see sand on both the upper and the lower parts, and there is a tube that connects both the parts. Okay, so sandy hourglass, this is an apparatus consisting of two glass bulbs, okay, which are hollow and connected by a narrow tube. Now this contains, see, contains certain amount of sand, and see, from the upper part the sand runs to the lower part, and the time in which the sand runs from one part into the other one is 1 hour. So that's how the time was calculated in olden times, so this was used commonly before watches became common. Okay, so this is the sandy hourglass. Okay, so Salerno, what does Salerno say? I should not see the sandy hourglass run. So if he sees the, or at the sight of a sandy hourglass, what will come to his mind, or what will he think of? So if he sees the sandy hourglass, okay, what he would think? I should think of shallows and of flats. Okay, so immediately what comes to his mind is that, okay, the dangerous shallow waters. Okay, and in the sea there will be shallow waters and sandbanks, and these are dangerous for the ships. Okay, so ship can be wrecked by hitting on the sandbanks. So that's what he says. If he sees, even if he sees a sandy hourglass, immediately he would think of shallows, that means shallow waters and sandbanks that can wreck a ship. Okay, I hope you understood. And now next line. And see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand. So immediately he thinks, oh, my wealthy Andrew. Here wealthy Andrew means, okay, the rich cargo ship. Okay, the rich cargo ship docked in sand. Docked in sand means, okay, um, stuck in sand. Actually, see how this all these cargoes got this name Andrew, because in 1596 the English captured a Spanish ship in Cadiz. Okay, and the ship was named Andrea, and it ran aground, or it was wrecked when it was being brought to England. Okay, so since then Andrew refers to a big cargo ship. So after that, whenever they refer to a big cargo ship, they use this name Andrew. Okay, so that's what Salarino says. And see my wealthy Andrew docked in sand. So immediately he thinks about a scene. What scene is that? His rich cargo ship stuck in sand, and veiling her high top lower than her ribs. Okay, so when the ship is wrecked, what happens? Okay, yes, when it is grounded in sand, okay, her mast will be or inclined down and lower than the sides. Okay, and lower than her ribs. Ribs mean, where do you have the ribs? On the side. Okay, so here lower than the ribs means lower than her, than the ship sides, to kiss her burial. Okay, to kiss her burial means the now the ship will be wrecked by, and it is covered with sand, and so to kiss the burial means it touched the sand that enclosed the ship, or the sand that encloses the ship. Okay, so this is what Salarino tells that he would think of when he uh, blows on a soup or see a sandy hourglass. Okay, now the next thing, what does he say next? See the next line. Should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone, and not within me straight of dangerous rocks, which touching but my gentle vessel's side, would scatter all her spices on the stream, enrobe the roaring water with my silks, and in a word, but even now worth this, and now worth nothing. Okay, so now he says another example. These are some of the example. He says that if he were in Antonio's place or in Antonio's position, having many ventures in the sea, okay, what would have been his feelings? Okay, so he says, if he goes to church, should I go to church and see the holy edifice of stone? So when he goes to church, or if he goes to church and see the grand building, okay, that majestic and grand building, okay, built of stone, what would he think of? And not big thing, me straight dangerous rocks. So immediately he thinks of the dangerous rocks hidden in the sea. Okay, and what happens if the ship hits the rocks while touching but my gentle vessel's side? Okay, you know that if the okay, if the ship scrape against the rock, okay, immediately there will be holes in the ship. Okay, and that can make the ship wreck in the sea. Okay, so that's what he says. And he would think of the dangerous rock immediately when he goes to the church. That will make him think of the dangerous rocks, okay, that can wreck his ship, which touching, but which touching, but my gentle vessel's side would scatter. Then what happens when the ship hits the rock? Would scatter all her spices on the stream. So you know that the cargo ships have a lot of things, costly and expensive items. Okay, so this would make, or this would scatter all her spices. The spices will be scattered on the water, on the stream. Here stream means not a small stream, but what he means is that on the sea. Okay, so all the spices will be scattered on the sea. And then what happens to the other things? Enrobe the roaring water with my silks. So there will also be silk. Okay, carrying from one place to another country. Okay, so what happens to the silk? The silk will be okay, that also will be scattered in the roaring sea, roaring water. And it looks like as if the sea has or dressed itself with the silk. Enrobe. Enrobe means what? Robe, the cloth, and enrobe here, cover with that. Okay, cover with the silk. Enrobe the roaring water with my silks. And so he says, and in a word, so he says, okay, in short, but even now worth this. So he says, see, now I may own many things. Okay, so that means he is a rich man. He might own many things, and now worth nothing. And what happens in the next minute? Okay, everything is gone. If the ship wrecks, okay, so he has then nothing. Okay, so he will be nothing. Shall I have the thought to think on this, and shall I lack the thought that such a thing be chanced would make me sad? Okay, so he says that is it possible that he can think about this without thinking that if such a thing had, or if such a thing happened, okay, and it would be, and that would make him sad, okay, would make me sad. But tell not me, I know Antonio is sad to think upon his merchandise. Okay, so he says that surely what he is trying to say is that surely Antonio is sad because thinking of all his merchant ships in the sea. Okay, so that such a thing be chanced, okay, would make me sad. So if such a thing happened, or thinking about if it happens, that surely makes him sad. But tell not me, okay, but Antonio, I know, is sad to think upon his merchandise. Okay, so he says that Antonio is melancholic or sad because of the thought of his merchandise, or thinking about his argosies. Okay, now what does Antonio reply to this? Believe me, no, I thank my fortune for it. My ventures are not in one bottom trusted, nor to one place, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. Therefore, my merchandise makes me not sad. Okay, now uh, what does Antonio reply? Okay, whether he agrees with Salanio and Salarino, or is against their belief. Believe me, no. Okay, so he says, you just believe me, that is not the case. I'm not worried about thinking about the thinking about my ships. So Antonio says that, believe me, no. That means, no, I'm not worried about the ships. I thank my fortune for it. So he says that he is, or he thank his good fortune because my ventures are not in one bottom trusted. So he says that my ventures means, venture means business enterprises. Okay, so his business enterprises are not in one bottom trusted. That means he has not risked all his money, or he has not vested all his money on one ship. Okay, my ventures are not in one bottom trusted. Here bottom means, okay, the ship. It is not vested in one ship, nor to one place. Okay, so he also says that, and his business enterprises are not or risked in one particular place, not to one ship. Okay, neither to one ship, nor one place, nor is my whole estate. So here, nor my whole estate. What is that whole estate? Okay, whole estate means financial status. So his financial status, nor is my whole estate upon the fortune of this present year. So he says that his financial status does not depend upon the business ventures of the present year. Okay, you know that, uh, see, Antonio is a very wealthy merchant. Okay, he's called the king of merchants in Venice. Okay, so uh, he has a lot of cargo ships, and that's why he says he has not risked all his money in one ship or in one place. Okay, upon the fortune of this year. So his financial status does not depend on the business transaction of that present year. Okay, and then, therefore my merchandise makes me not sad. So that, so he Antonio tells that, so that merchandise, his merchandise does not make him sad. Okay, so this is what he tells. He is not worried about his ships. Why he is not worried about his ships? Okay. So what does Antonio tell? Can you put it in your words? Okay. In spite of the danger to his ships, Antonio is not worried. Okay. Why? Because he is confident of his business enterprises, which are neither dependent on a single ship nor on a single business transaction of the present year. Okay, so he's not worried about that. Okay, so this is what Antonio replies. So he tells, he doesn't know the reason of his sadness. So what does Salarino reply to this? Salarino says, why? Then you are in love. So Salarino found a reason for this. Now, oh, okay, then if you are not worried about your ships, you are then in love, because Antonio is not married. Okay, so Salarino finds a reason. Okay, then you are in love. That is the next reason he tells. Antonio, five. So he said, oh, shame. So he did not like Salarino telling that he is in love. Okay, so he says, okay, shame or nonsense. Okay, you are so foolish to talk like this. That's what Antonio tells Salarino. Not in love, neither. So actually, it has to come not in love, either. See, not. So there is a negative already there. Not in love, either. It should be not in love either. So are you not in love? Then let us say you are sad because you are not merry. So they found a reason. Okay, then we'll say that you are not, or you are sad because you are not happy. This is what Salarino, okay, tells sarcastically. Okay, because Antonio does not say any reason for his sadness. So they said, okay, Antonio, you are sad because you are not happy. And it were as easy for you to laugh and leap and say you are merry because you are not sad. So he says, okay, it is very easy for you to laugh and jump and say that you are happy because you are not sad. Now, by two-headed Janus, nature hath framed strange fellows in her time, some that will evermore peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper. Okay, so he says that the now by two-headed Janus. Okay, now there is a mythological reference. Janus. Okay, Janus is a Roman god of doors. Okay, Janus is a Roman god who preside on doors. Okay, and he had, okay, two heads. Okay, Roman god Janus has got two heads. Okay, and looking into opposite directions. Okay, you have to listen carefully. One frowning and the other smiling. So one face will be uh, frowning and the other face will be smiling. Okay, so according to the legend, Janus had received from the god Saturn the gift to see both future and past. That's what the legend says. Okay, so what he wants to say is that, okay, what uh, Salarino wants to say here is that, see, there are okay, there are two kinds of people. There are two types of people. Okay, who are they? One type, one happy and the other sad. Okay, that's what he wants to say. Now, by two-headed Janus, nature hath framed strange fellows in her time. So nature has created, okay. So there are two types of men. And what are those two types of men? Some that will evermore peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots. Some people always laugh. Okay, they go on laughing, or they laugh every time, okay. And see, when they laugh, their eyes will become small. Okay, yes, they close their eyes. That's what they say. Peep through their eyes and laugh like parrots at a bagpiper. Okay, when one bagpiper is a person who plays a bagpipe. Okay, so this is one type of man, and another of such vinegar aspect. Okay, see the next page, turn your page. Okay, and another type of men, they are vinegar aspect. So other of such vinegar aspect. Vinegar, you know, what is the taste of vinegar? Huh? Okay, sour. So uh, these people will have a gloomy expression. Okay, they will be sad or they'll be serious all the time. So, and other of such vinegar aspect, and they'll not show their teeth in way of smile, though Nestor swear the jest is laughable. Okay, so he says that, and another type of men, they have this vinegar aspect. That means they have the sour expression. Okay, and they don't laugh. They don't even part their lips to smile. That's what. Okay, we may also see people like that. Okay, so that's what he says. There are another type of people who never even part their lips to smile. Okay, and though nesters were the just be laughable, even though Nestor, I'll tell you who Nestor is, even though Nestor laughs at a joke, just a joke, jester, joker, just joke. So even if Nestor laughs at a joke, these people will not laugh. Okay, so if somebody cracks a joke, if it is laughable, everybody will laugh. But Salerno tells that there are certain people who okay pretend to be very serious and they will not laugh. Even Nestor laughs at this joke. Okay, now who is Nestor? Okay, he is a Greek general. Okay, Nestor is the Greek general, and he was one of the greatest leader in Trojan War. I hope you might have heard of Trojan War, and there's a movie Troy. Okay, hope you know that. Okay, so he is Nestor is the king of Pylos and one of the greatest leader of Trojan War, and he is said to be very grave. Grave means very serious. Okay, and he doesn't laugh. Okay, he laughs only if a joke is laughable. That means if he laughs at a joke, that means that joke is really laughable. Okay, so what Salerno here wants to say is that there are people who pretends to be very serious and they will not even smile even if Nestor laughs at a joke. Okay, I hope you understood this part. Okay, so please read at home. Okay, read the right side. See, it is in the right side in prose part it is given, so it is easy for you to read and understand. Okay, let me ask you one question from what we have learned today. Okay, so again I'm asking this question: where does the scene take place? Okay, where does the scene take place? The scene take place in a street in Venice. Okay, so what would the wind cooling the broth remind Salerno of? Can you tell? What would the wind cooling the broth remind Salerno of? Okay, the wind cooling the broth would remind Salerno of what? Of the strong wind that can damage or that can wreck his ship. Okay, and now when Salerno goes to church, what would he think of? Okay, so when he goes to church and see that grand building made of stone, immediately he thinks of the hidden rocks in the sea that can wreck his ship. Okay, and what is the sandy hourglass and what would it remind Salerno of? Okay, so sandy hourglass is an apparatus. Okay, that shows or it has got glass bulbs. Okay, and which are hollow and connected by a narrow tube. It contains a certain amount of sand and the time in which the sand runs from one part to the other. Okay, that is 1 hour. Okay, so now when he sees the sandy hourglass, what does he think of? He thinks of the sandbanks or the shallow parts in the sea, the shallow waters and sandbanks in the sea that can wreck his ship, or that can be dangerous to his ship. Okay, children, very easy part. Okay, if only you read, otherwise it will be difficult for you. Okay, now in the next class I'll send you the notes so that you can learn. Okay, so bye children, till we see in the next class.